Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we at Invisible Condition want everybody with an invisible condition to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are not alone. And to that end, I'm very excited about today's show. It's going to be really cool. You guys are going to love this. I have two people that are part of an organization in Texas. I first heard about these doctors and their clinic from a friend whose son, his name's David, and they become very good friends of ours. And he was born with hydrocephalus, like I was, and so he was born way premature and just, had gone through it, man. This little dude was a trooper, and he was just. So they had gone to this place called KinActive Kids. It's a clinic in Texas, and my friend had just a few concerns about her son and the development stages and how he was doing and things, and so she brought him to Texas, and she was absolutely blown away with how they were able to help him and put her mind at ease and help David. And so I was like, well, this is a no-brainer. I got to figure out how to get a hold of these guys and show you talk to you about what they're doing and how you can connect with them. So I have Dr. Emily Heisey and Dr. Matt Otteman, and they are kind of the dynamic duo behind KinActive Kids, a pioneering clinic just dedicated to helping children reach their developmental milestones, which is huge, especially when you're in that stage of, oh my gosh, are they going to be okay after surgery? Dr. Emily is a doctor of physical therapy and the founder of KinActive Kids, and Dr. Matt is a chiropractor and co-owner of KinActive Kids. So very excited to have them here. Let's welcome them to the show here. All right, let's see. Push that button. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This is so cool. It's amazing how crazy the connection can be that brings us to a point like this. Like this is probably like a year and a half in the making. Like that's the first contact I made with Goretti and David, and
wow,
on Facebook of all places, through Facebook Messenger, and she just happened to find me somewhere on some other string of a comment on a thing on another website or whatever. And there's no chance meetings in my mind. There's no such thing. Everything is lined up. And so I'm so glad that this got lined up, and she happened to go to Texas and find you guys to help with David. And so
which I think was on a whim.
It was.
She found us too, and she was like, wasn't she in our community, our KinActive community?
Yeah, I think she was in our KinActive community.
And I said something to her. The funniest thing, I was like, she showed me a video, and she was like, "Does this look weird?" And I was like, "He is so cute. You just bring him to me right now." And she's like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay." quite the traveling experience. But
where did they come? Like, they're from United Arab Emirates. They're halfway around the freaking world.
They're from Dubai.
On a whim. Crazy. So that was pretty awesome.
That's one of the benefits of social media, right? You hear about all the craziness on social media, but there's really great things that happen too, right? And you connecting with her and getting them over here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I had never, I had nothing to do with her coming to you. I had never heard of you guys before until she told me that's where she would. She's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to be in Houston or Dallas or where I'm sorry, where are you guys?
We're in DFW, Dallas.
DFW, yeah. By the way, we just drove through there about 3 weeks ago. I don't know how you do it. That is like the nightmare of all nightmares.
Oh man,
driving through DFW. Of course, when we did it the first time on the way there, it was like I think it was like 6 o'clock in the evening on a weekday, which was probably our mistake. That place it's avoided at all costs.
Oh, and all the freeways are crossing and looping around. Oh yeah,
I know.
We
like our interstates that converge at DFW, and it's God bless you. You guys are brave or crazy or whatever. I don't know. That's a lot to do every day. So, well, let's just dive in here. Dr. Emily, please tell us about KinActive Kids. What types of, like, what kind of patients do you normally treat? How does your clinic differ from the rest?
Yeah. So first and foremost, KinActive Kids is the one and only pediatric chiropractic PT clinic in the world. It is the only one that is co-owned by two pediatric clinicians, a chiropractor and a PT, because typically chiropractors and PTs don't really mesh well. Chiropractors tend to be a little bit more holistic, and physical therapists maybe want to fit more into that traditional medical model, but we merge together. And right now we're serving just people all over the globe, virtually, in person here locally, and
Nice.
and just through these camps. And what I love is we have currently treated about 22 children from different 22 states or countries, and then 40 states within the United States. So we're serving all of these kiddos. And when it comes to diagnosis, that's kind of our motto, is we don't care about a diagnosis. We just care about treating the child, because you can line up 5 different kids with all the same diagnosis, all the same age, and you're going to have 5 different kiddos. So what we like to look at is how the patient presents and how we can best serve them and really customize the experience for them. And we can do that a lot of different ways. Our most popular way is this intensive model, where they come down here and they stay in Texas, and they're here anywhere from 2, 3, 4 weeks. They get therapy every single day and chiropractic every single day. It's paired together. And the results we see is crazy. The results are expedited, and kiddos come out, they want to be able to walk, they end walking. They want to be able to sit, and they're sitting, and parents get their level, this like function back, and they get their lives back. And it's just the most amazing experience to be a part of it.
That's so cool. Well, and I love there's something you said there that sparked something in my mind that we have grown to feel very strongly about at Invisible Condition, and just my wife and I in general. The medical world and the alternative. I hate that it's called alternative, because it really shouldn't be. I mean, really, they should be working together.
Right.
You should be working together. Doctors are traditional now, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. I would not be here if it weren't for skilled surgeons and good doctors. So,
sure.
Definitely not trying to, be that guy. But at the same time, I have come through a lot of things. 7 brain surgeries later, I have come through a lot of things related to those, side effects from those brain surgeries. Very necessary to treat hydrocephalus. I wouldn't be here without them, but they come with side effects, and the surgeons have no idea what to do with those.
Yeah.
And they have nowhere to refer me to. And so I'm just stuck. And so you have to go looking elsewhere. And thankfully I did, or I wouldn't be sitting here before you right now today. But why are those worlds not working together more? That's what I don't understand. So that's kind of, it just
I don't understand either.
That's such an interesting perspective, because obviously, like you said, there is absolutely a time and a place for the medical model, time and a place for it. But when you're looking outside and you're trying to work towards a gross motor skill, doing something just because it's the way that we always did it isn't really a good enough answer anymore. There's new information coming out, there's new study, there's new research that's happening all the time. And if you're just doing it because, well, that's just the way that we've always done it in the past, you're going to get left behind. So we have something like this, and Emily, credit to her for this like brain child that she had of like, we're going to have chiropractic and PT working together, and we don't care what other people say, and like getting us to work together. And then we start seeing these results. We're like, man, we are really onto something here. And then it just evolved into our KinActive method now, where we seamlessly work together and are outside of the traditional medical model, but we work with a lot of the medical providers. And actually, it's interesting when the neurosurgeons, when the patients go back to their normal doctors, their neurosurgeons, and they're like, whatever you did, keep doing it. That's when we're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and Dr. Matt, it's funny because you used to, correct me if I'm wrong, you used to work with professional athletes, right? That was your thing, but that was your gig before. What the heck made you make change? Now you're working with kids and working with, that had to have been pretty lucrative, man. What sparked the change?
So I played professional baseball to start with. So that's what kind of started I came down to Texas the first time to play baseball from Chicago originally, and then ended up signing a major league contract. So did that for a little bit. So I was like, well, I'm just always going to be a professional. Like, I'm just only going to deal with athletes. And then 2020 came around, and me and Dr. Emily connected on Instagram, and she was like, you are going to be a pediatric chiropractor. And I was like, no, I'm an adult athlete. That's what I want to do. And she's just like this little fly in my ear, like, and she tested me. And I mean, really, man, God put this on a path, and just he closed doors and opened other ones and just led us to where we are now. And I'm so thankful to have that experience in my past of dealing with athletes, because if I would have just been a pediatric chiropractor from the beginning, I would have just done what every other pediatric chiropractor does. But because of my sports background, doing something a little bit different, it kind of opened my mind to really being able to work with Dr. Emily and put our methodology together and do it in a way that's different from anywhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's sometimes what it takes. Sometimes it takes something crazy, I mean, for instance, just, in 2014, I ended up having two revisions back to back within 24 hours because of a bacterial infection in the CSF. And it was crazy. 3 weeks in the hospital, blah, blah, blah. All of it came out this other side. Okay. But then I started developing migraines. And I started getting more and more frequent. And it developed to the point that it was literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I was having migraine headaches all the time. It was awful. And I kept going back to the neurosurgeon and saying, you put this, thank you for keeping me alive, but you put this in my head. And ever since, I have nonstop migraines. Help me. What can we do? And I don't begrudge what he said. I'm not mad at him or anything. It's just telling. He literally looked at me and said, well, I'm sorry. I guess you're just going to have to live with headaches. That's literally what he told me. And I said, and at the time I was like, that sucks. I'm not happy with that, but I wasn't mad at him. I knew that was his wheelhouse. I knew that he couldn't refer me legally. He couldn't refer me to like a chiropractor or something else. So I had to say, I'm going to go looking for myself, because I wasn't happy with that answer. I was like, no, I'm not going to live on the couch, And so we found neurofeedback that ultimately I found a chiropractic neurologist that helped a lot. And then I found the only one in Colorado, turns out, and that lives 10 minutes from here. And then the other thing was neurofeedback, that completely within a month, the migraines were gone. But if I had stayed with the medical model and said, well, okay, doc, I wouldn't be here. So there's got to be that balance between all of that. And so so it's funny because that if you had stuck with that track, you probably never would have landed with Dr.
Evans. We can go over numerous stories of a child gets a diagnosis, they get put in a box, and the box is, well, this is what your life is going to be like. We've had all kinds of things get told to these families, and then they come here, we're like, all right, we're going to take the diagnosis. That's good. We need to know that for contraindications. But outside of that, we're going to set that over here. Yeah, we're going to put it over here, and we're going to say, all right, how can we help you specifically, because you're going to be different than somebody with the same diagnosis somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah. It's insane. Some of the things that parents tell us that had been told to them: your child will never walk. Your child will never contribute anything to society. And I've always had a little bit of chip on my shoulder, because people always told me as I was growing up that I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. And so it's like, I had to have that energy in me to be like, when they come here, I'll be like, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it. Right. Because if you have that expectation that children will succeed, they will, and they always will. They are so tenacious and amazing and don't really complain. They just, get frustrated, give them bubbles and they're fine. And so they are just a joy. And to see life-changing things happen and then them showing those people, hey, I did walk. I'm doing all the things. I mean, for the parents too, it's really miraculous.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean, and the parents, like you say parents, I mean, I probably also wouldn't be here if it weren't for my parents, because being diagnosed with hydrocephalus, thank God, I really didn't have any real complications with it until about 10 years ago. And then that's when we've had four revisions, since 2014 and some side effects and that kind of thing. But really growing up, it was a non-event, really. I mean, yes, three revisions, 3 brain surgeries from birth to 18, but really there wasn't any complications. There wasn't any, but so they didn't really say, hey, you can't do this because you have this thing, you have this thing in your head, or you have this condition. No, you can't do that. They never said that. It was always, I'd say, hey, can I do that? And they're like, well, how about this? I want to play football. How about choir?
How about choir?
I want to play soccer. How about band? How about that instead? And so, it was a very encouraging me into another direction versus discouraging me and reminding me of how sick I was, because I don't feel sick. It's a daily reminder. I mean, I've still got the shunt, but it's all about how it's approached. And so the parents are huge in that, and you guys are approaching it amazing too. So it's really cool. So, and I put that QR code up there, everybody, by the way, so that it'd be super easy for you to get in touch with either Dr. Emily or Dr. Matt. So if you have questions that we don't cover, or you're like, wait a second, what about this? Reach out, scan that QR code. It'll bring them right to the website, and you can learn what they're doing and reach out to them and get in touch. So.
Now we are all about helping. I want to go back with the parents just real quick. Some of the parents that come into the office here, they are the best parents. I mean, honestly, they make me want to be a better parent because of, it's crazy how life is. You have these ups and downs, and you get something that's thrown in your face, and then these parents that come in, they're like, you know what, we're gonna fight for our kid, and we're gonna do things to help them, whatever it is. We're gonna go to Texas for a couple weeks. We're like, who does that? Like, and they make me want to be a better parent because of that.
Right. Well, and especially, I mean, back to that example of David and his mom coming, I mean, from the Middle East, flying to Texas on a whim, like, hey, this can help.
Yeah.
Let's go. I love that. Like, I know ever since I've met them, I'm like, oh man, that's like the epitome of what should happen, So,
oh man. And that's one of the 20, like Emily said, 22 countries that we've had. We've had Australia as our furthest one, and they're coming back in a couple weeks for their second one.
Oh my gosh, man.
Wild.
And that's not cheap. Those aren't cheap tickets, man. So that's dedication right there. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, so we were talking about parents. How important are parents? I mean, what role does that play in the progress of a child, versus just having the child there, having the parents with them? I mean, that's got to be helpful. It's got to be huge.
The parents being involved is huge. I know that myself as a parent, and kind of how KinActive Kids came about was my journey with my youngest daughter. And she was delayed the first 12 months of her life. And as a pediatric physical therapist, I was like, okay, now I have to take off my mom hat, put on my physical therapy hat. And knowing that the traditional medical model was, if a kiddo's delayed, you can expect 6 months to a year in therapy. And I'm like, I can't do that, especially if it's my own child screaming bloody murder. So I kind of came up with this purposeful play, which was 20 minutes a day you're going to spend with your kiddo. And purposeful play is doing what feels like playtime, but it really enhances their social, physical, and cognitive development. And so I was going to get her to start crawling, but I was going to do it 20 minutes a day because that's all I could muster up. And I also added in chiropractic 2 to 3 times a week. And this was around 10 months old. And in that 6 weeks, she went from just sitting there to crawling, walking, and doing all these things. And I was like, holy moly, me as a parent, 20 minutes a day. And I expedited with chiropractic this whole process. And I was like, I want to build a business on that. So kind of full circle, parents have a huge role in it, but it doesn't have to be this thing that's so challenging and frustrating. It's something that really can only take 20 minutes a day, and you can really build this like really beautiful gross motor and social and cognitive experience for your child. It's easier than you think.
That's so cool. Our children are a little older. They're 14, 17, and 20. So it's like they're a little beyond the infant stage, but I remember it like it was last week, and it is hard. It is tiring. It takes a lot of time. Even if it doesn't take as much time as you remember it does, it's exhausting. Being a parent of a little person is exhausting. And so people are like, oh my God, how long is it going to take? So
exactly.
Yeah. So 20 minutes.
20 minutes and exactly. And I think the role of a parent, especially when it comes to the development of your child, is becoming bigger and bigger because they are seeking out all these different avenues on social media to become educated, because education is power. And once they have that, it's like they feel like they can kind of control a little bit of what's making them so anxious in parenthood. So that's awesome. I think kind of the whole role of the parent is definitely evolving over, each year as social media grows, but for the good, definitely for the better.
Yeah. One of the good things that came out of social media, another good thing that came out of social media, you can badmouth it all you want, but this is proof that there is good things.
There is.
So yay. For sure. Well, Dr. Matt, I do have a question for you, but I do want to go to one commercial break just for a couple of minutes here, and then I'm gonna ask you on the other side of it. But I kind of, because there's physical therapy, there's chiropractic care, but I know you guys are using other, there's obviously other things that you guys are using to go along with that, and I want to talk about that on the other side of the break. So, so everybody watching, don't go anywhere. This is going to be good. Stick around. And we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, CoreCentrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. CoreCentrica, where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how CoreCentrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Does your to-do list have you feeling stressed? Does your list include tasks like responding to email and phone calls, collecting forms and paperwork, and sending quotes and invoices? Have you been neglecting posting updates to your social media accounts, email newsletters, or content on your website? Maybe you need help to get digitally organized. I'm Selena, one of the owners at Office Mercenary, and we're a US-based virtual assistant agency. We can take care of all of these tasks and more so you can get back to focusing on the things you love about your business. Our team is happy to work with you and your individual needs. So schedule a call with us, bring your to-do list, and stop doing the tedious tasks.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Just before I bring back Dr. Emily and Dr. Matt, I just want to talk about one last partner of ours that we absolutely love, and it's The Porch. They're in Portland, Oregon, which, by the way, if you've never been there, it's awesome. It's a beautiful place. And it's a coffee space where they create community and converge, and it's just so cool. It's a space where you can show up and be seen. It's Brett and Molly who run it are absolutely amazing. And it's a nonprofit that actually seeks to provide training and opportunity to those who are, sometimes overlooked in community in general. And coffee is a vessel that crosses all bounds, and it enables to preserve dignity, through the act of generosity, hospitality, and building relationships with your neighbors. That's what they're all about there at The Porch. So you can be a part of the story wherever you are because they ship anywhere in the country. And if you like good coffee, I'm kind of a coffee nerd. So I was like, okay, this has got to be good or I can't promote it. But oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. So got a couple bags back here that I've been working on and need to get more. But anywhere in the country, you can get it. And here is where you get it right here. Scan that QR code, theporchcoffeepdx.com. Scan that QR code, and you can be a part of what they're doing, which is absolutely incredible. So, all right, everybody, here we go. Let's pick up where we left off here. Let me bring back Dr. Emily and Dr. Matt. All right, thank you again for being here. This is awesome. Now, we were talking before the break about physical therapy, chiropractic, all the things that you guys are doing. That's what we've talked about. But what other modalities do you guys incorporate, like for the overall well-being of the children?
Yeah, we definitely are. Our business is basically built on be the master of what you do, be the expert of what you do. Not that you don't need to be a jack of all trades. Right. So we are very specific to chiropractic, PT working together. Now, from a holistic standpoint, we can't forget about the outside of just gross motor development. So holistically, when we look at, kids can't tell us what's going on. We have to do a good job of listening to what their bodies are trying to say. And we do that by asking about eating, sleeping, pooping. Those are the three things that their bodies will start to communicate with us if there's something going on internally that we need to figure out what it is. So eating, we definitely want to look at what kind of nutrients are they getting, what are they putting into their bodies. As far as the pooping goes, are they moving or are they getting stuck in different positions? Again, goes back to diet, water, all of that. And then lastly, sleeping, that's kind of like your body's regulatory response. So if you're always in this fight or flight response, sleeping is going to be tough. Or if they're learning a new skill, they may be waking up a couple of times throughout the night because their brains are just going, they're trying to learn all these new skills. So we want to figure out, okay, is this overdrive? Is this what's going on with it? Can they take their foot off the gas and move it over to the brake and slow down? And if not, that's what we talk about. Okay, obviously they're getting consistent chiropractic care while they're here. When you go back to your homes or, that's something that is a great way to regulate your nervous system and help calm it down. But yeah, as far as looking at the holistic, what is the body doing? We have to ask those three things: eating, sleeping, and pooping.
And that's big, because a lot of traditional medical places, you're going, oh, you need help with this thing, you go to that building with that doctor. You need help with, oh, that's different. No, you go over to that building with that doctor, and that building with that doctor for that other thing. And God forbid they prescribe you medication at each one, because they're not talking to each other probably, or well, maybe they are. I don't know. Best case scenario they are, but I mean, maybe not. And so how are those interacting? And, and so to have it in one place is huge. To have all that in mind.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when I'm a big proponent of using my hands, I don't like all the bells and whistles. And there's a lot of clinics, which they do them. We're gonna do us, but I love to feel the body. I know like every muscle, bone, nerve, so does Matt, in the body, like it's the back of our hand. And so I don't need all the other stuff to help me find the restrictions, and with Matt as well, get them to try to work in this functional pattern to get them doing these big gross motor skills, because it's all about function, really. So they have this cool device that gets them to walk, or, holds them up so that they can be upright. But really, if you know kind of how the biomechanics of the body work and musculoskeletal system, using your hands and being intentional with how you're moving a child, you don't need all that stuff. So I don't have
you go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah. And it goes back to just overall function. How is the body functioning? And gross motor development leads all other development. So, and speech, especially, speech is the finest of fine motors. So we'll see a lot of times, just by simply getting them to move and function better as, they're designed to do, then you're going to see these benefits in other areas, even with eating, sleeping, pooping. But you're going to see it also with fine motor, or the way that they're able to manipulate a toy, or the way that they're opening their hands and pushing through their hands, or, even speech. We've had so many first words in our office, which is, again, is really great. And we love to see that.
Well, it's cool because, I've had other people, in fact, our season 2 finale show had an amazing guest. Her name's McCall, and she was talking about something kind of along the same line, a different aspect of it. But it was like, if you need to add too much to something, then you're still sick. You know what I'm like? Oh, you're healthy as long as you take this, and this, and this, and this, and do this therapy all the time. Well, that's but maybe you don't have the tools for it. But like doing with your hands, you can do it anywhere, right?
You can
anybody can do it now, and so you don't need all these fancy tools.
Well, and it's more about finding the root impairment. What is causing all the other things? We see all the issues, all the impairments, but why? Why on like a very cellular, musculoskeletal level? Why? Because if you start that and you go back to that foundation and kind of start at the very origin, then you can really fix. And I say fix because we really are fixing, a lot of these impairments that kiddos, that's getting in the way of them moving. So if you find the root cause, you don't have to continue to put a Band-Aid on it with all these fancy pieces of equipment.
I love the words you used, root cause, because that is what is missing from a lot of traditional medical models. Is medications are necessary. Sometimes they're necessary. I'm not going to ever say, you should never have to take medication. Some people do, and that's fine. But that is not no medication is treating the root cause.
Sure.
It is covering it up with it's treating the symptom maybe, but it's not probably not treating the root cause. So I love that that's your approach.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm sure me and you said, I think it was McCall. I think we would get along because are you healthier if your medicine cabinet is full or empty?
Right. Probably not. It's not a contest. How many orange bottles do you have in your front and lined up on your bathroom counter? It's not a contest. Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys would hit it off. I'll introduce you guys to her. She's phenomenal. I'm working with her right now with a couple things that she's working with me on. So she is absolutely amazing. So I can't wait for you to meet her. So talk about I know you guys have like a community online resource for parents. Talk about that for a minute, because that's huge. So when that's like, if they leave, they're not in the wind now. They still have resources.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Matt, you go ahead.
Yeah. So one of our big, what we really strive for, every parent that comes here has a goal for their child. They want them to walk or crawl. One of our big goals is that when they leave here, they feel empowered, educated. They know exactly what they need to do. So our clinicians do a good job of wrapping up their sessions and sending them off with a home exercise program. In addition to that, they also get access to what's called our KinActive community. And this is it's online, it's basically like Facebook meets, I don't know, something more educational than Facebook. And they get direct access to me and Emily, and they get a community of other parents that they can interact with as well. But what's actually in there, Emily, you could probably talk a little bit more about how it's all broken down and pieced together, because it's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm only one person, and if any physical therapists are listening, you know that there's only so many clients we can see in a day, right? Because each session is about 45 minutes to an hour. And so having this desire, after I started my Instagram page, which organically grew from 2 followers, my mom and my husband, to now it's almost 500,000 followers. People were really craving this education, and I wanted to be able to give it to them. So basically, I took every gross motor milestone, videoed it with kids, and we cut it all up. And so it's in these nice little 30-second videos: how to get a child to sit, how to get a child to crawl, how to get a child to walk, like all these different things. And this could be, you could be across the world watching it and still have the ability to get this education, or maybe in an area where they don't have a PT. This could be something that is helpful. And again, it's not just for kiddos that are neuroatypical. This is for all kiddos. I mean, the crawling portion was based off of my own child who's typical, but just needed a jump start. And so basically that's what KinActive Community is. It's a safe place for parents to get the help, kind of that visual information, as well as a community of other parents who are just like, what's going on? Is this typical? Is this not typical? So yeah, it really is a way to help people globally, because we just can't do it all, one-on-one.
Yeah, that's huge. And to have it online. Yeah, I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but we've said it so much. But that is another good thing with the internet. There's so many people that can be reached that way that you wouldn't have been able to reach before. So it's huge. You guys are obviously there's amazing things happening within the walls of your place. But I'm sure you still run into skeptics. You still run into critics. You still run into, come on, really? Is it that simple? How do you deal with that? Like, what do you say when somebody like, maybe they're not coming to you for they comment on something on your social media or something? Like, what do you say to a skeptic?
I try to have a little grace. I'm a little rough around the edges, so I don't always give them the sweetest of comments, but I will say that the proof is in the pudding. And we actually showcase through Instagram and our website these success stories, and they're all different kinds of kiddos. It's not like this is a kiddo with just a little bit of something going on. We have kiddos that are blind and deaf and have seizures, and they're walking. We teach them how to walk. You know what I mean? So it's like, you may not believe it, but let me just show you. And that's what I've always kind of done with Instagram and or the business is I'm good at, me and Matt just like to show people because it is sound kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But when you see it in person, you're like, holy moly, that worked.
You can't deny it if you see it right in front of your eyes, right? It's like, holy cow. So Dr. Matt, can you share just some, sorry, you were going to go. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I was just saying, so to wrap that up, I'm a big numbers guy. I like to look at statistics and I look to see all of that. And that's part of running a business, but also, we want to provide the best care that we can. So after every camp that comes in, we give them a questionnaire, and on the questionnaire, it has a bunch of questions. The first two, the first one is scale of 0 to 10. How would you rate our education? Like, do you feel like the clinic is educated and informed, or are we kind of just lost puppies? And everybody puts 10 on that one, which thankfully, that's good. The next one is on a scale of 0 to 10. How much improvement would you rate your child, or how high would you rate the level of improvement that your child has had while they're here? And every one of them, the 250, had over 250 camps. Every one of them, nobody has yet to put 0. The lowest score I think we've ever gotten was a 5. The average is about an 8.5. So when people are skeptical, the numbers don't lie. And everybody that fills it out, we can say, it's hard to put a guarantee on anything, but 100% of parents that come to camp see improvement in their child.
Wow. I mean, you can't really, that is hard to argue with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people want concrete numbers. There's your numbers, everybody. There you go.
There's your numbers. Yeah. And it's usually the dads, which I get it. I'm a dad myself. I'm like, give me the numbers, give me what are you guys doing over there? You got a chiropractor? Don't they have like, incense and smoke signals or something?
Right? Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh man. There's still people in my family that are like, you go to a chiropractor? That's crazy. No, there's always going to be stigmas about stuff.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. It's all right. The proof is in the pudding, like you said, just all you got to do. You got to be willing to look at it. That's all. Just be willing and open to look at it. That's it. So, yeah. Well, speaking of that, Dr. Matt, can you just do you have some tips or strategies? Like, I'm sure you send the families home with strategies to maybe stay positive, support the environment at home, that can help continue the progress that you started. What's some of the things you do there? Yeah.
So we definitely try, like I said earlier, when a parent or family leaves, we want that transition of care to be as seamless as possible. So the best way that we can do that is we actually educate other clinicians. So we have it's called KinActive University that just launched. It got rebranded and launched. There's about 1,300 clinicians that we have access to in there. And in that, we have a new database that clinicians are added to once they take our courses. And so it's an easy way to transition them back to home. So we want to give confidence, empower them with education while they're here with us, and then give them, a plan of action when they do go back. And we give a very detailed home exercise program. Emily, you can probably talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. I mean, what is missing sometimes between what happens in the therapy clinic and what happens at home is it doesn't necessarily always translate. So when the parents get home, their big goal is, I just want my child to sit up long enough so I can go to the bathroom, or I want them to be able to sit up in a high chair so we can go out to dinner. But maybe in therapy, they're working on all these different complex things. So what I always ask parents is, what is one thing that you wish your child could do that would make a huge impact in your home? And it's the simplest things, really. And it's like being able to sit or being able to stand long enough so that you can get your child dressed. And so what I try to do and what Matt tries to do is in these home programs is we are giving them easy things to replicate and that gets them into that functional skill and being able to translate that to going to the grocery store or whatever. But when parents understand the why behind the exercise, and that's what I was trying to bring it back to, is we're doing this XYZ because it helps your child's back muscles turn on. And when those back muscles turn on, they're able to find their center of gravity. And if they have that, they're going to be able to sit upright. And that's what you want. So I'm always just taking step by step, showing them that all of these complex things can be easy. And I show them a way to replicate that in the home, but they're really driven and empowered because it's going towards a skill that makes their life so much easier.
Love that. Yeah, that's huge. Because that's what they want. Yeah. I mean, I remember when our kids were little, it was like, man, if only they could do whatever, fill in the blank, right? And you just, once they get there, we'll be set,
Yes.
And then, of course, then you progress to the next thing and the next thing. But, there's always the next thing. Right now it's like, man, I wish my youngest could just get her permit so she could learn to drive and get her license. That's that's the next thing.
Always
get that one a license, huh?
There's always something.
I know. Yeah. There's always the next thing. Well, we only have, unfortunately, we have like 7 minutes left here, but I wanted to talk about, hope has got to be a huge thing with you guys. There's no denying that hope is kind of the foundation for so many things. And when people come to you, that's probably what they're filled with, like the cautious optimism, right? Like, I hope this works. I'd love to hear from both of you on this. How do you define hope?
Yeah, for me, again, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but I've definitely been through a lot of situations, whether it was school, or having a learning disability, where people told me I couldn't do things. And so it put a little chip on my shoulder. But what it made me do is really hone in on what I wanted and work hard to get it. And if you work hard and you have that innate tenacity, which most kids already do, I know myself as a clinician that if a kiddo comes to me, we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. And I'm not going to give up. And if I don't give up, that energy translates not only to the parent, but to the kiddo, because my expectation is they're going to do everything. And if I have that expectation, just like I had for myself back when I was told that I couldn't do anything, everything just blows up from there, and you're able to see these amazing things that no one ever thought was possible. So I guess a little bit of just my own experience gave me that ability to just stick with it, and we're going to do this, and we're not going to quit. And there's going to be some tears. There's going to be a lot of sweating, but you know what? You're here, and I'm not going to let you leave without doing all the things.
I love it. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I think, hope for me, I relate it to a lot of faith. Like hope is faith. And then to take it one step further, a lack of hope is really helplessness. So if you don't have a hope, or if you don't have, that's a really hard place to be in as a parent. And I'm sure that there's somebody out there that listening to this that is in that right now. And what Emily said, to kind of just go off of that, is you have to have that internal dialogue with yourself of positivity, that you can, there's things out there. We don't know what we don't know. And there's things out there that will help you. You just have to do something to find it, or you have to figure out, what that something is. And that's where you can't just be helpless and shut down, because then you're not going to open doors. You're not going to, go looking for things. So to have that hope, to have that faith that there's something out there for me or for my family that is going to help the situation that we're in, is going to drive that positivity within you. And that's going to direct the actions that you have. And those actions are going to lead you to the path that you want to go.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. 100%. That's so cool. I love asking that question because I always get a different answer from everybody, and it's always awesome. So, so there's never a wrong answer. I'm just fascinated every time I ask that because there's so many amazing things out there. So, well, I'm gonna take this QR code down here in just a minute. But so if anybody hasn't scanned it yet, scan it now because it's coming down. But because we're coming to the end here. But yeah, in the last, I don't know, we got like maybe 2 or 3 minutes left. Is there anything parting, like, that you want to leave the audience with that for I don't know, getting in touch with you or just anything in general?
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. I would say our mission is to change the way the world treats their children. That's what our mission is, our KinActive, and it's a big vision and it's a big goal, but we feel like we can do it with our reach and the education. You do that by a couple different ways. You lead by example. We're doing that in our clinic. People that come to the clinic, we get great results with. However, we're only one clinic. So to really, if that truly is our goal, is to change the way the world treats our children, we then have to go outside of our clinic with education. And that's where the Instagram page, KinActive Kids, that Emily started a long time ago, is such a great resource of education for parents, and then also educating clinicians, because those are the clinicians that are going to have the widest reach to really put their hands on, use our methodology to help and change and join us in changing the way the world treats our children.
I love it. Emily, anything?
Yeah. So KinActive_kids is the Instagram with all types of free resources. You can go to our website, which also houses signing up for KinActive University, which is for clinicians, and or KinActive Community, which is the parent resource we were discussing earlier with all the resources on gross motor development. But even just going to our website, you'll see a gross motor checklist. If you're just like, is my kiddo doing all the things they need to be doing? And that just pops up. And so that's a great free resource to just kind of get you in tune with where your kiddo needs to be. And so we just really pride ourselves in giving away a lot of information, and because it builds trust within our clientele, and, just being able to help as many kiddos and parents as we can is, again, we're going to do that as best we can through clinicians, through our own local office, and hopefully through parents.
Love it. That's so cool. I am so excited that we were able to do this because the world needs to know about you guys. It's amazing how one tiny little contact can make such a difference. So I'm so glad that we got connected and that we were able to do this. And I hope you just get flooded with people going, who are you again? Because that was really cool. And maybe we need to have you come back sometime. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that too. We could
I would love to
update people later on. I don't know.
Absolutely.
You come down to Dallas. We'll show you around.
There you go. Perfect. Maybe we'll do one from there. How about that?
Love it.
We'll see if we can pull that off. That'd be fun. Right on. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate what you're doing, and I appreciate you being here with me today. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Oh, that was so cool. Okay. All right. Everybody, if you didn't scan the QR code during the episode, rewind on the replay and do it and go check them out because they're phenomenal. And I'm so thankful that we were connected, and I fully expect that we'll be working with them in the future on some things. And so I'm really excited. They're pretty awesome. So, hey, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you who are watching and who have watched over the almost a year. Well, no, it's been over a year now. So man, just thank you. And if you have an episode that you particularly love, that's your favorite, maybe this is your new favorite, I don't know, share it on your social media, because if you love it and it's your favorite, chances are it's probably a few hundred other people's favorite too. They just don't know it yet. So, and they probably benefit from what they hear, especially on this one. I mean, this was amazing. So, join us for our next show on Friday, May 3rd. And until then, I look forward to seeing you on that episode. And just have an amazing day. We'll see you next time.